chance maybe he might get down the inside. He's not going to wait till that. Where's he going?
Hello and welcome back to another video. We are back in the south of Wales at Pembrey circuit for round 4 of the Classic 2CV Racing Championship, and let me tell you, you are not going to want to miss this one.
Imagine me tall in a tight dress, showing off things I bet you don't want that. Picture my side, both in life and angles, with a little edit. I don't really care, I'm going to fly forever. Get out of my hair, I weaken all my core values.
The sun is shining, the birds are tweeting. It's 27 degrees on this fine Saturday afternoon at Pembrey circuit. We finished race 1 in P2. It's now time to go and find a win.
I don't have to look no further, 'cause I've reached my destination. I used to be lost, but now I'm found. As long as I know that you'll be around, I don't have to.
So race 1 produced some fantastic racing. We managed to go from P5 to P2 in a solid battle with the rest of the grid, I think. But now we head into race 2. We are starting 4th on the grid this time, with Ethan Sparrow and Simon Turner just behind us. But we've got to keep our eyes open for Andrew Bull and Nick Crispin, as this weekend they are on fire. And of course Brian here as well, very quick. But we sit on the grid and build the revs. I couldn't see the 5 red lights because of where I was, so I sort of had to guess. But we are off. Not too bad on the first stage. You can see Nick Crispin gets a good start and leapfrogs ahead of Brian here, who didn't get the best start ever. And you'll see Ethan Sparrow to my left-hand side, no, to my right-hand side, having a look down the inside as we pass Brian Heary, who then tries to make a move around the outside, but goes very deep, and he gets pushed by himself off the track. So let's have a quick look at turn 1 once again from the broadcast feeds as we head into turn 1. You've got Brian Heary trying to hold it around the outside and just goes straight on. Meanwhile, Ethan Sparrow looking up the inside. But just look at how many positions Brian Heary has lost there. Keep a note of how far back in the grid he is now, because he is going to come in and play a pivotal role further into the race. But meanwhile, we follow the leaders of Andrew Bull and Nick Crispin through on this first lap. Nick Crispin, I think, happy to sit at on this first lap and just look at the back of Andrew Bull as we head round the lap on the first opening stage. And I close that little deficit that I had onto the back of Nick Crispin and get right into the slipstream. I'm sort of thinking about where I want to put my car, where I want to be for the majority of the race, and I think P2, P3 probably isn't a bad place to be. We have 2 long straights that are going to help us out if we fall back a little bit, and it'll sort of keep us in an attacking place throughout the lap. So I think P2, P3, as I said, a good solid place to be as we follow the leaders round the final corner at the first lap and down the straight. Now just look at how much more they have down the straights to me. This is something that was really frustrating me through the weekend, and I was having to work extra hard through the corners to try and get that little bit extra onto the straights, to try and maximise my speed down them. And because even with the slipstream, I was just struggling a little bit. Now luckily for me, the leaders didn't really seem to want to sit with each other and pull away at this point, and after Nick Crispin having a look on Andrew Bull, he's actually pushed him wide for this left-hander, and I've seen an opportunity and I thought, you know what, I'm going to follow him through here and follow my teammate through onto the back straight. Maybe have a look at leading the race for a little bit. If we can all work together, this is the key, is that if we can all work together and just sort of push each other past down the straights, we can build up a really nice big gap for the end of the race, at which point you can go hammer and tong and just fight and have a proper scrap. And I was sort of expecting this to happen. As we come onto the back straight, I see a gap. Nick Crispin's gone a little bit wide into that corner, and Andrew Bull pushes me along past Nick Crispin. And I was getting excited. I thought, well, you know what? If we all work together, we can just pull away and we could just have a massive scrap and just enjoy the second half of this race. But as you can see, we tip it into the final corner, and heading down the straight, Andrew Bull is already looking to pass me. He's not hanging around. He doesn't want to push me. He wants to get into the lead and try and pull away himself. I think he knows he's got a super quick engine. He's got the pace to just sort of pull away. So he has a look around the outside. Nothing doing there, as I went for a fairly defensive move after realising that he wasn't going to push. But here's the replay from Martin Ryman, whose debris actually caused that yellow flag onto that back straight. So he's gone for to get a position around the outside of Sam Archer, just underestimated the distance between his car, and that's lost him his wing. So there's yellow flags on that corner as we head towards there now. Andrew Bull all over the back of me. He really isn't willing to have a fight, and I think he just wants to get stuck in and get to the front of the pack. So I mean, we can't expect the races to always go how we want them to go, but I thought that it would be a great opportunity for us three to just work together and push and pull and push and pull as we head down the back straight. Andrew Bull not pushing me this time and actually looking to have a look around the outside, but I managed to defend for one more lap, and we head onto the back straight once again a lap later, and I make a bit of an error and go a little bit wide into and onto the exit of that corner. Andrew Bull pounces and takes the opportunity to pass me. Now this was a bit of a confusing moment in the race, because as you can see, Andrew Bull went to pass, he's dropped back and he's done a magic trick and turned his car into a completely different coloured car, and suddenly I've got Nick Crispin up the inside with Andrew Bull nowhere to be seen. So Nick Crispin doing a fantastic job of utilising that slipstream and basically catching both myself and Andrew Bull out. But on the attack already is Andrew Bull down the inside, back onto this front straight, and I'm sort of stuck on the outside, but I brake early. Nick Crispin brakes late. I tuck it down the inside and I get a brilliant cutback and pull side by side with Andrew Bull once again as we head into the infield twisty section of the track, and I try and get that overlap round here, but I'm still open and on the outside, and Andrew Bull squeezes pie, and just as I did an Andrew Bull earlier, Nick Crispin takes that inside line to pass me, and I can't really do much there as I get shuffled back to P3 once again. It's not the end of the day, but I thought maybe we could hold P1 for a little bit longer, but we've still got P3 and our sights on the leaders as we head onto the back straight once again, 5 laps into the race. Now I don't know if you saw from that broadcast shot, the green and blue car of Brian Heary, who was all the way down in sort of 9th, 10th, maybe 11th after the first corner where he outbroke himself and went wide, has made his way all the way back on to Ethan Sparrow, who has done a good job of sort of just staying in our rear view mirrors. He's not sort of close enough to attack or anything, but he's just staying there and going, look, I am here guys, if you make a mistake I'm going to pass. So I had that on my mind, but we see Nick Crispin makes a bit of a mistake coming around that final corner, loses the back end, and I thought about having an attack and then thought about pushing him, and in the end I didn't do anything, and it was just sort of a wasting time by us defending and slightly sort of mid-attacking as Andrew Bull stays in the lead for one more lap. And you'll see very soon just how close Brian Heary and Ethan Sparrow have got behind us, and I just wasn't expecting it. I thought he was down and out for the count as he was so far back, but he's obviously just cut his way through the pack and is ready to sort of attack now, as we see Nick Crispin having a look around the outside of Andrew Bull. But here we are, you can see that green car is right behind me already, and he's about to catch me completely unawares as he heads down the inside. I try and go a bit wide. I get a big tap from Brian Heary, and there's a loss of momentum now as we exit down the straight, and Brian Heary takes the inside line to pass me. I try and hold on to the leaders, but Brian is right there and he's sort of squeezing past, but I've got to grab that side draft and try and get side by side with him again as we head round the final corner. Now, probably not the best thing I could have done. I should probably have just sat behind Brian and pushed him, but I was so frustrated, so annoyed with myself that I'd been caught out and that I'd let him go down the inside. I just wanted that position back, and in the end you can see the leaders are just pulling away, and I'm still side by side fighting with Brian as we head down into turn 1. I try and brake as late as possible, bit cautious of locking up, but Brian takes that inside line, shuts the door completely. I'm forced to back out completely, and that invites Ethan Sparrow down the inside, and all of a sudden I'm down in P5 when I should be sitting in P3, and the frustration is just horrible. I'm clinging on to every little bit of speed I can get as I now hold the inside against Ethan Sparrow, but the 3 leaders now are just pulling away. Brian's managed to get away scot-free. He played a blinding game of sort of chicken with me as we headed onto the back straight there, and then down into turn 1, completely shuts the door, which he had all the right to do, and I was just being too eager, just trying to hold on to too much instead of just being more considerate and thinking about the end game. Now luckily Brian Heary has just gone very, very wide, and that's pulled me right back into Brian Heary and pulled him away from the guys ahead, so he doesn't have the slipstream and I now do. So that sort of engine power, straight line speed deficit is now nullified. I now have the upper hand here. The gap to the leaders, yes, is a little bit too big, but if we work together, if we pass and push and pass and push and pull and pass and push, we can get through and we can catch these leaders again, because they are eventually going to start fighting. We just need to think about the long run and work together. So we're now entering the phase of the race where we just need to be patient and we need to be intelligent. We've got 4.5 minutes left of the race, or 4 minutes and 40 seconds. That's about 3 or 4 laps, and we really just need to have 3 laps or 2.5 laps where we are just pushing each other. No fighting, no nothing, just maximising the pace for the 2 of us. Because yes, I could possibly pass him and just secure a P3, but if we work together, there's that possibility for both of us to be in a fight for the lead of the race, and I'd rather get to the front with someone else and have that fight and have that ability to try and push for the win than to just sit and secure 3rd place. I'm out here to win. I want to be the first to cross that line, and the only way I can do that is by pushing and working with Brian and pulling 2 cars into the mix. So instead of fighting with 3 people like ideally I would have if I'd have managed to stay with the leaders initially, I've got to think about, you know, if I just invite another driver into it, then we can do this together, and I've still got a better chance of winning the race than just sitting in 3rd. And I think you'd agree with me, I'd rather fight to win a race and come 4th than sit and politely give 3rd to myself. So we head down into the first corner again. Brian was pushing us at this point, but he's missed his braking point and he's driven straight into the back at me. Now the time was coming down. We'd brought that time down from 1.6 seconds to 1.3 seconds. We were catching by 3/10 a lap, and if we'd have just kept pushing, it would have been fine. And through no fault of his own, really, Brian was about an inch away from the back of my car, so I hit the brakes. He hadn't hit his brakes already, and he just hit the back of me, and it was a big punt, yes, and we've lost a lot of time, but no one really to blame for that, just a bit of a racing incident. But unfortunately, that gap is now going to go from 1.3 seconds to possibly around about 1.8. As we now lose our final camera, unfortunately. I ran 3 cameras for this race. I lost the first, the inboard camera, so the cockpit camera, before the race even started, and the rear camera shut off, as you saw, after the first corner, and my main camera, my dash camera, didn't last the rest of the race either, just 3 minutes short. So 2.5 minutes left. The gap is a little bit too big for us to do anything, and now unfortunately, due to that big hit from Brian Heary, we are in a position where we now just have to consolidate 3rd and keep Brian behind. So it's going to be 2 minutes or 2 laps of just trying to hold on as we take the defensive line. Brian Heary looks to the outside. Ethan Sparrow also having a fight with Alec Graham, who's managed to get himself up to 5th position as well, as we head round it's the penultimate lap, I'd say now. That gap has grown to 1.54 seconds again, so we've lost another 2.5 tenths. I thought it would be more with the severity of that hit, but we obviously haven't lost too much. But unfortunately, it is now just a point of consolidating P3, and hoping maybe that the leaders have a big fight, they start taking time off of each other. It's very easy for them to lose a second just fighting through a couple corners on the last lap, so let's just hope something happens and keep our eye in the game, keep our foot flat, planted, and just be intelligent again, try and keep Brian behind. But we do have Alec Graham and Ethan Sparrow now being pulled into that fight behind, and although the gap doesn't look massive on the broadcast screen because we're slightly slower cars and it's all about momentum, finding a second and a half over one lap is a near impossible task if the leaders aren't fighting. Nevertheless, we head on to the final lap. As you can see, there's a chain of fights all through the grid, which is why this series is so fantastic. It doesn't matter your ability, your car's ability, you will always have someone to fight with. But we head back to the main battle between Andrew Bull and Nick Crispin, and Nick has done a fantastic job of just sitting and just being patient as we head onto the final lap. He's in a good place to get himself into a passing position down the back straight. So there's definitely an opportunity for Nick Crispin here, as you can see in the background, still holding on to Brian Heary. But there's a big slowdown from Andrew Bull, and Nick Crispin gets it all checked up, and suddenly I'm back in the game as Nick Crispin has to pull all of his momentum off, and I glide past him to take the win, and everything has suddenly just turned and flipped on its head. Andrew Bull is nowhere to be seen. He's pulled off the track. Nick Crispin almost stacked it into the back of him as well, and I, from consolidating or sort of resigning to third place, I'm suddenly leading the race on the last lap down the back straight, and now I am scared because I thought, oh, this is alright, I've got enough of a slipstream from the guys ahead to just sort of stay ahead of Brian Heary, but he has a rocket ship in his car, and suddenly that big gap is now closing and closing and closing as we head round the final corner, and I get it all crossed up, and Brian Heary looks to the outside, but we cross the line with 0.06 of a second gap between myself and Brian Heary, and somehow we've gone from sort of just resigning to third place to winning the race by 0.06 of a second from Brian Heary. Now it shows Nick Crispin in P3, but it was actually Alec Graham that managed to get the better of him. I think there was an issue with his transponder, and what a fantastic final lap. I mean, it just shows that it really is not over until it's over, as we managed to claim P1 fully down to luck at that point. We quite simply were not in a position to win that race. It would have just been third position, but it just goes to show that you have to be in the right place at the right time, and it is never over until it is over, as we get a fantastic P1 for race 2 against all odds. We thought we were down and out, we thought it was done for, but we managed somehow to get that win, and we can see a replay now. Andrew Bull just completely slows down. Nick Crispin hits his brakes, tries to avoid Andrew Bull, but in doing so gets the car completely sideways, scrubs all of his momentum, and I just sail past completely. There's another view, and there's me already fighting with Brian Heary. I just glide past him. Absolutely, my eyes lit up. They were like saucepans as I saw that unfold ahead of me, and then all of a sudden the pressure was on, going down the back straight to keep Brian behind. But that's your finishing position. Myself, followed by Brian Heary, Alec Graham, Nick Crispin in 4th, Ethan Sparrow consolidated his 5th position, and a fantastic drive from Martin Ryman, who finally doesn't have a race full of bad luck and comes across the line in P6. Sam Archer P7, Glenn Oswin P8, Simon Turner P9, and finishing off the top 10 is Max Wire, with Brian Heary getting the fastest lap set on lap 4. But let's head down to Parc Fermé and see what's going on.
This is turning out to be a very good day for this man right here, Sebastian.
Hey,
What a day! What does that mean?
Oh, gosh. Well done, man. Cheers, man. Thank you, mate. Oh, I was sitting there in 3rd, watching them battle, and I thought, I can't catch them. I'm not quick enough down the straight. I'll just wait. And I waited, and we were sort of playing a bit of a team game. I got hit from the back, and on the last lap, they came together, which I just saw it happening, and I went, part of me wanted to back off, because it was a bit sketchy. but I just went for it. There was a drag to the line. Oh my god, brilliant.
Right. Well
I didn't know
done.
whether I'd won until I got here, because it was so close. Oh.
I'll tell you something, right? It's never over until it's over. You stay in right to the end, don't you?
That's it.
Never
Keep
give
going.
up, Sebastian.
Never give up.
Come on.
Keep going.
Are you here tomorrow? Endurance race?
Yeah, we're here tomorrow. I've got Luca's racing with me in my car.
Where's Luke? Luca, try for it.
This is the dream team for tomorrow.
Yeah, here's Luca. He's racing tomorrow. Hey, you've got some teammate here, haven't you?
Oh, what a teammate. You can't ask for a better one, really, can you?
A bit of pressure, I think.
Pressure's just a myth, isn't it?
There's this team. This is the team to watch. There you go, mate. There we go. That was tap water there. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Mate, honestly, so happy for you. Brian, hey, it's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a good race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good race.
Just got to stay right there to the end, haven't you?
Well, I wasn't there at the beginning. I had a bad start, and then I missed a gear and dropped to about 8.
Is that what happened? 'Cause I saw you drop down. Come on, have a smile.
Yeah,
Come on, Brian, have a smile.
Well, it's been an old age pensioner, you see, fighting against these young lads.
Well, I tell you, you've got the speed, though. Come on, he's still there.
Yeah.
They could still learn a thing or two, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Top man, well done, well done.
And there you go. P4 to P1. We've got a race win under our belts this season. We've got a P2 and a P1 at Pembrey. We've still got that 1.5 hour enduro race. Anything can happen. But thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to enjoy this video with me and enjoy these moments with me. And if you've made it this far into the video, why not hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you would have done. Let me know what you think I did badly, what you think I might have done well. Would you have been a bit more patient? Would you have won this race? I'm always happy to have a conversation about it. But for now, I've been RacerSeb. This has been Pembrey, Race 2, Round 4 of the 2CV Racing Championship. And until next time, goodbye. Could he not have hit the one that I do have a spare for?
Who was it?
Almost white, you know.
Oh yeah, you guys have got under investigation.
I know what it's for.